Thank you very much for joining us here on Woodwork Therapy. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to upgrade that 5-watt Algo DIY laser that we had in our previous video up to a 10-watt laser. So we're going to get a chance to see that performance difference and see how it really handles. And quite frankly, is it worth it? We're going to find out. By the way, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like our channel, and definitely turn on that notifications if you want to hear about all of our newest videos. Now, we do a lot of woodworking here, but we also do a little bit of laser stuff too, so definitely join us for both. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen our video that we had on the 5-watt. Well, now we're going to go ahead and show you how to upgrade from the 5-watt to the 10-watt. So let's kind of go over what comes in the 10-watt upgrade package. So first off, you get the 10-watt laser, which actually comes with an air assist connector. You get an additional laser cable, which we're going to be going into later on why that is. You also get a bunch of things, which includes a new laser focus, has some Allen wrenches in there, laser housing cover for the laser lens, and a new back plate, which again, we'll get into that here in a little bit. Comes with a few of these 3M foam connector pads for double stick purposes, which actually connect onto this. And then this is an additional module that you'll be adding in, and an air tube. It also comes with an additional adapter that allows you to have a little bit more power coming out. And again, we're going to be going into that here in just a little bit. Keep in mind that we'll be setting this up for United States regulations. There may be different regulations in certain countries. Like I understand Argentina has a different regulation on how to set this up. So keep in mind this does not cover Argentina's electrical requirements, but it does cover United States and I would say most of Europe's requirements. So let's go ahead and get into putting this together. Okay, so first things first, let's turn off our machine. So we're just going to go ahead and power it off. I'm going to go ahead and lock it, hit this. Probably overkill, but hey, who cares? I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect all of our cables that can provide it power because we don't want any power coming into the module while we're working on it. And this one, by the way, we're going to get rid of anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so we got the first part out of the way. Let's go ahead and get to disassembling the laser. Okay, so for the DIY kit, which is the one we're working on here, we only have to do a couple of things. Number one is we need to switch out the laser module, and we need to add in the new adapter, which that's easy, just plug it in. This piece of equipment here, we're going to not be using, and really we won't need, for the most part, anything in here. So we're going to go ahead and put this to the side. Oh, and we won't be needing this because the DIY kit does not require this. So putting all that to the side, that just made life easier. Ah, look how nice this is. All right, let's get this guy out of here. So the first thing we want to do is remove this harness right here. So we're going to go ahead and get that popped out. So generally you want to kind of pop the cables out here off the side. Not always fun. Algo did a very good job of securing these cables. There we go. Okay, now we can just go ahead and pull that up. There we go. Done. All right. So that gets rid of our laser cable. So now we'll go ahead and take the 5-watt module off. Slides right out like that, and boom, instant 5-watt module. All right, now that we got the 5-watt module out of the way, we're going to go ahead and install our 10-watt module. Just going to pop this bad boy right in here. We did not need to change the bracket, just so you know. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put it in a general placement. We'll go ahead and focus it later. And then we're going to go ahead and throw this back in here. And as you can tell, this module is a little bit taller than the other one, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Make sure you watch out for where that little cut is right there, because that does matter. Gonna pop that right in there. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm gonna leave this one a little bit looser. You're probably really supposed to put it back here, but I'm leaving this one looser because if I do need to pull it out for any reason, that'll make it easier in the future. And as far as our air hose goes, our air hose, we just simply just plop it right in there, so no big deal there. Okay, and putting the air hose on will be as simple as just moving this over a little bit and then just plopping it right in. There we go, cool. So after we get this straightened out and zip tied off and everything, should be good to go. So let's work on that. Okay, so to go and hook up the laser or the air assist rather, we're going to go ahead and take our tube from here. The way I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and zip tie it right here through this little hole. Going to come back around here. Actually going to go all the way down there. There we go. And this is a bit fiddly, so take your time with it. Okay, there we go, cool. So now we're attached to that. So now we'll go ahead and take our tube and we're going to plug it into our air assist unit, not included. If you're interested in one of these, I'll put it on the links at the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and plug it right in there. This is actually just a fish tank bubbler in all reality, so just so you know. All right, cool. So now we have that all plugged in. So we've got our air assist squared up. We've got our laser module connected along with our air pipe here. And so now we'll go ahead and get the power implemented and we'll be ready to go. Okay, cool. So now we've got our power adapter back here. This is our OEM original one. We're going to be replacing that with this little guy here that comes in the kit. This is actually what it looks like, assuming they don't change the style or anything over time. But this is basically what we're looking for, is this guy. And so all we have to do is just plug this in like normal. So that's just going to go right in here. And then boom. Now all we have to do is go and plug it into the wall and we'll be good to go. Okay, so now we've got everything all squared away as far as the power goes. So we're going to go ahead and plug back in our USB cable and see how she does. All right, so we got our air assist placed up here, so that way we get a little bit better reach with the cable, kind of stay, or the hose, so it stays out of the way. So let's go ahead and give it its first fire up. Looking good. All right, so I think we're ready to start testing. Let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do though before we do any testing is we're going to go ahead and align the lasers. So it does come with this. This one's just probably maybe a millimeter shorter than the one that comes with the 5 watt. So keep that in mind. Just going to do the normal, scoot this down, drop this there, boom, there we go, we're ready to go. All right, and then we'll just remove that out of there. It's good to rock. So now we're all aligned, so now we can actually officially start testing. All right, so let's go ahead and go over our burn results. So I'll go ahead and put this up here on the screen to make this a little bit easier to look at. So it looks like our 10 watt laser was able to go and pull off 700 speed, so 700 millimeters a second, or a minute, sorry, with a total power of 100. So what this tells us is that if we were to max out the machine and we were to make little tiny squares, it's going to be able to do it at 700 millimeters per minute. No, that's not what it tells us. Actually, what it tells us is that Under ideal conditions, it can actually theoretically burn 700 millimeters a second, which is actually relatively fast, so it's actually not really that bad. In reality, like I always say, is you normally want to go about a step or two back as far as power goes. So, I mean, I'm probably more in for probably 680, or maybe even going down to as low as 500 at, I'm sorry, 600 at 90 or low as 500 at 80. I mean, I'm kind of in that zone for where I would probably actually set the laser to. I'm going to want to have a little bit more chance of fully burning through. Now, this is only 2mm birch, so the next one I'm going to go ahead and show you is going to be the 3mm, so let's get to that. All right, so let's move on to the 3mm birch. Now this one, I went ahead and took it a lot further because I wanted to kind of really see where like it kind of passed and where it failed. So we're going to put that up here on the screen. All right, so realistically speaking, the fastest we could go was 1400 at 100% power. Now, we did that by doing 4 passes. As you can see here, there's several different options here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And obviously, the more passes we did, the more speed I dumped into it at the same time. Ultimately, what that tells us is that, you know, 300 at 90 kind of works, but you're probably going to wind up doing more like 200 at like around like 50, maybe 60. So you're going to be somewhere probably in that range. But technically speaking, 300 did have a partial success, which means that it burned through for the most part to the point that you can't really tell whether it burned through on its own or not. It might have required a little bit of popping out, and that's where the P's and the T's come from. So pass or partial, P, means that it kind of needed a little bit of help getting popped out. T, that's through. That means every single one of these went through, no problem, and that's how it works. Same thing up here. Really our best one really is 1200 at 90, and that's why we have that labeled there. And as we can see, we had a full through on here. We didn't have anything getting stuck on the back here, so that's why that one winds up working out that way. So what this tells us is if we make a full chart like this and we figure it out with passes, we can eliminate some of the laser power that we're actually putting out. This way we can focus in on getting a cut that is best said to be relatively smoke-free, yet also relatively fast and efficient, you might say. So again, like I always said, you don't only want to go back 2 or 3 as far as the speed goes, just to kind of make sure that you get a good burn through, but not so much that it winds up leaving smoke. And remember, these are all based off the fact this is like a brand new laser. It was just put in the machine. It hasn't needed any cleaning, and it has 0 runtime on it. So let's kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at these. Performance does degrade over time as the laser gets older potentially, and as it gets dirtier from burning, if you don't clean it, it's not going to be as efficient. So out of fairness, these are probably the best results you'll probably get out of a 10-watt laser in general. So there you go. All right, on to our next one. We're going to go over and see, does the laser really give you a 0.1 kerf? We're going to find out. All right, well, test results are in, and yeah, we're definitely going to be able to go and prove this. So 0.01 kerf was what came out. As a matter of fact, I had to do these extra ones up here off camera to be able to figure that out. Here is our 0.01 kerf, guys. There we go. And as we can see, that's a nice tight fit. Really doesn't want to go in there, but that's good, because that means it's solid, no glue required, it just works. So ultimately at the end of the day, yes, it does exactly as it's advertised. It does a 0.01 kerf, and that's fantastic. So I would say that this one is definitely on point. So let's get to the next part. We're going to be doing some really large wood. All right, so I've got one more test that I want to run on the 10-watt laser. Now, what's the most annoying test you can run on a laser? Oh, that's pretty easy. Solid wood. Plywood has a tendency to burn through pretty easily, so of course it's like perfect for laser materials. But let's say you want to do a half-inch of pine as an example, which, hey, it comes up. Maybe you want to cut something out for Halloween or make some like votives for the front of your house for Christmas or whatever you're into, right? So you might want to be able to go and be able to cut through a fair amount of material. So 3/4 is probably pushing it a bit with the 10-watt laser, even though theoretically you could probably do it. But what we're going to test is we're going to test a half-inch of pine. So just a common piece of pine that you bought from your local hardware store. Nothing interesting. You don't have to go to the hardwood store for it. Just a simple piece of pine. So we're going to go ahead and test that and see how much we have to do in order to be able to actually cut through it. Take your bets. 5 through 10. Do it now in the comments. Come on. Go do it. Okay, let's get started. All right, so let's find out how it did. So I'm just going to pick this up here off the, oh my, it's already, we have pieces falling out right off the bat. That's always a good sign. All right, so what do we got here? Let's see if the camera will focus. There we go. All right, so we're just going to go and try to poke these out. Oop. Nope, that doesn't look like that came through. So we're going to poke out number 9. Seems like that's good to go. Let's see. Okay, so we poked out number 9. We'll poke out number 10. Oddly, number 10 didn't come through all the way, which actually makes sense because sometimes with the quality of the wood, you'll sometimes get that where it's like you're trying to take it out and it didn't. So it actually had some tear out on it, even though that was 10 passes. So this kind of tells you a little bit about unpredictability. In reality, actually 7 passes was actually probably good enough. But again, we have tear out on 7 passes. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us a couple of things. Number one is that even though we're able to burn in 7 passes per se, we still do have a small problem with lasers, which is universal really to the wood itself. So it's not the laser's fault, it's the wood. And that is that no matter how proper you have those settings set, it still might not necessarily cut through. So on this test here, we did 400 millimeters a second at 100% power, 10 watts of power on half-inch or 13 millimeter pine approximately. And that's the result we get. So the answer is, can a 10 millimeter cut through a half-inch of pine? Yeah, pretty record time. This whole test only took roughly just a few seconds over 7 minutes to do all of this. So I'd say, yeah, it definitely can do it. Will sometimes you have some small issues with cutting wood with it? Sure, but that's primarily due to the consistency of the wood and how thick grain is in one point or another. So overall, the answer is yes, you can definitely do this. Just like I always like to warn people on anything that may or may not be safe in the shop, keep in mind when you are cutting wood species like pine, where it has like a lot of sap in it and stuff like that, it's unlikely that it would catch on fire, but it can. And that sap that's actually in wood, like pine and aromatic cedar and things like that, that definitely can catch fire. And I've definitely caught that stuff on fire before with a 5-watt. So I'm going to tell you, be very careful doing this kind of test. But ultimately, the answer is yes. That was the question that was there. But I will tell you, be very, very careful with doing this test if you decide to do it yourself, because just keep a fire extinguisher around, just in case. You should always have one around anyway when you're using a laser, but this probably gives you a little bit more incentive. So there you go. All right, since it's around Halloween time, we thought we'd take our cool settings and make one quick little project. We're gonna make a pumpkin candle. So let's do this. And here it is, a little pumpkin candle that we could use. So we got a pattern off from one of the websites. I don't remember what website we got it from, but that's basically what we came up with. Let me show you what this looks like in the dark. Hopefully the camera can pick it up. Okay, so went ahead and switched cameras here so this way we can actually see this. Yeah, so basically, as you can see, it kind of projects itself onto the back using the holes that are actually in the front of the pumpkin here. So that's pretty cool. Just put like a little tea light in there or whatever, and then get this really cool evil looking thing on the back end. It's pretty neat. So anyway, yeah, that's what that basically looks like when you're all done and it's painted and everything like that. So there you go. Pretty neat. All right, so what'd you think of that 10-watt laser upgrade? Pretty easy, huh? That's what I thought. I was like, I saw the stuff come in the box, I was like, I'm not sure about this, and then boom, I just threw it in and there it goes. So really amazingly easy upgrade. Didn't even have to adjust my light burn. So I mean, I can't complain. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, long story made short, if you're into laser stuff, definitely hit that subscribe button. If you're into woodworking stuff, hit that subscribe button. We do both here. Definitely don't forget to hit the bell notification icon for all of our newest videos. And if you like this kind of content, comment down below, hit that thumbs up button to let me know you loved it, and we'll do more of it. All right, in the meantime, stay safe in the shop and take care.